Yo, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into why the heavy class might be the best choice for you controller players in the finals. If you're rocking the sticks instead of an office keyboard and mouse like myself, this one is for you. We're talking about aim assist, we're talking what the best hit scan weapons are, some tanky loadouts, and a little bit more. Over the course of the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you a breakdown into all the important things that we see with heavy players and why, for you guys on console and the likes of myself on controller on PC, can make a difference with all of those sweaty little lights that are flying around. Until then, catch you in 5. Peace. Alright, let's get straight into it. Let's talk hit scan weapons. For controller players, these literally have to be your bread and butter. You're going to ask me why, but because there's no bullet travel time. It's basically you pull, aim the trigger, and the shot hits them. Simple as that. They're perfect when you've got aim assist working with you instead of against you, so always do that. And when we talk about aim assist, it's important to know that there's rotational aim assist in this game. So that literally means you have to keep moving your left stick, basically your movement stick, while you're aimed down sight so that you get a bit more sticky aim and it actually keeps you on the target for longer without having to use the right stick. So try use your right stick as minimal as possible, but always make sure that while you're doing that, you keep it on target. So a great example of this is the gun that I'm using right here in this video, which is the Lewis gun. This is an absolute monster, I won't lie. So once your reticle actually touches them and you hit shoot, they're going to get absolutely melted. Combine that with the aim assist that I just mentioned, so talking about strafing and stuff, it becomes so easy to track targets in the chaos that happens during this game. So if you compare that to something like the projectile weapons or the burst fires like the FAMAS and stuff, requires a lot of timing and precision, and then you can even talk about the Pike 556, which is so demanding. Your centering has to be impeccable. It's not really ideal. So to be honest with you, for the most stability and control, using the heavy class and a hit scan weapon with the aim assist, yeah, different gravy. Right, the heavy lads are beefy boys. Let's face it, we're going to talk about survivability. Controller players in this game are at a massive disadvantage when it comes to raw flick speed and pixel precise aiming. So how do we compensate for this? We become harder to kill, whether that means we become a giant sponge or whether that means we have a little bit of movement to get out there. When we talk about being a sponge, that is the heavy class. It really is that simple. With the heavy class, you can just eat so much more damage, whether you're using the mesh shield like I am in some of these clips, the goo gun, or just taking cover and healing with the defib station. You can afford to make mistakes with this class and live through them. And that's huge for console and controller players that are trying to hold angles or push objectives or hold them down. We also talk about the concept of controlling space, but what actually is controlling space? Controlling space is essentially being able to block sightlines or just lock down an area where you hold that means the enemies cannot enter. As simple as that, giving your teammate a bit more ability to move around and kind of slow the game down in a sense. So using a heavy class, you can actually do this pretty easily just because of the size that you are, and it also removes the need for you to have aim like a god, basically using Kovacs or something to be constantly training. You don't need that, and to be honest, that's just a win. Now let's break down what the best weapon loadouts are for the controller players in this class. We kind of mentioned one already. It is the Lewis gun. Hit scan, high mag size, really low recoil. Pair that with the aim assist we spoke about and you're going to dominate in these medium range fights. And a little bonus, it doesn't punish you for missing a few shots because the mag size is so big. Next, a really fun one. It's the semi-auto shotgun. It's the SA-1216. Maybe I'm saying it right, maybe it's the SA-1216. I don't know how the fuck you call it, but it's a beast. For close range fights, especially with the aim assist pulling you toward the center mass, this thing absolutely shreds. You don't need perfect aim, just have relatively decent centering and you will be absolutely perfect. Lastly, the biggest spray and pray weapon, but it makes people shit the bed completely and try run away. You guessed it, it is the flamethrower. It's essentially spray and pray with damage over time effect. Super effective in like tight hallways or objective rooms. Say you're sitting on top of a cash out, just start spraying. That's all you can do. That tracking can become difficult, but look, it turns you into a walking area denial machine. And in games like this where it's important to actually hold that space like we spoke about, really, really good. Look, overall, controller aim, thrives on consistent and predictable tracking, and all of these weapons let you stay locked in without having that perfect precision or flick that's needed from some of the other weapons for the other classes. When we talk about gameplay flow, sometimes things can get a bit crazy like a juggler when you're on keyboard and mouse, whereas on controller, the heavy class's abilities just make it a little bit more simple, powerful, and extremely effective. So, for example, we start with the Mesh Shield. It's a front face and hold the line tool. You can push in, sponge a load of damage, and force enemies to reposition because basically they've sprayed their whole mag into you with no damage, and your teammates can actually shoot through it. So, it's a win-win, really, isn't it? And controller players do love that kind of stability and cover. I know myself I do, because you can basically bait people into clipping their mag and then you just one-tap them or completely mag them. When we talk about the goo gun, if you're getting flanked or you need to block a line of sight to cross with, especially when you're a heavy build, because you're quite slow. Let's be serious about this. Like, you're not going to be like a light flying around on a grapple or anything. So the goo literally gives you that build, and it gives you time to react and settle down, or it gives you the ability to cross at the time that you need. So it is ideal for you guys that need that extra half a second to kind of decide what you're going to do. Lastly, but probably my least favorite ability, is the Charge and Slam. It's really easy to activate and use. You can just smash through a wall or into a group of people and cause a bit of chaos. It gives you aggression, and if your timing is good, it's great. You can also do like a bit of a jump tech with it, where like you slam down through the grounds and you can push down the cash out with it. All in all, probably my least favorite, but I'm sure some of you guys out there will prove me wrong, because I've seen so many clips of people absolutely smashing with this. Moving on to something that's a little less mechanical, and by that we mean it doesn't actually require as much skill but more thought, is that if you're playing on controller, the best positioning that you can kind of take, or role that you can take up as a heavy player, is to play the anchor. And that's basically what heavy are made for. So what actually is an anchor? Think of it as a boat. You are the anchor of your team. You are holding things down from the perspective of being a player, whether that's sitting in the back line, holding a high angle, or just generally drawing fire from other teams. That's what an anchor is. So in the case of this game, it's holding a cash out point, defending a vault, or just being a distraction. Like I said, this is what this kit is for. It's top. And all of this kind of works in your favor as a controller player, because you can dictate pace, you can force fights on your teams, and you can take damage while you're still contributing something meaningful. Really, in fact, you'll find that you get more kills by just being really hard to kill, because enemies get baited into bad trades. They come into and take bad positions to try and take you out. I've done it myself. I've played as a light character, and I'm like, okay, I take a fight, and then I see it's a heavy, and I just can't help myself. I just put a full mag into them, and then I get killed. And it's really as simple as that. So when you're playing on controller and you can't deal with that light who's just flying around the place, using the heavy just gives you a free kill. At the time of recording this video, we're actually in Season 6. So let's talk about the meta right now. PHL was on recently, and believe it or not, the Sledgehammer is absolutely brilliant with heavy layer. So I guess, having watched a lot of it, at the higher levels we're seeing a lot of success, but not by trying to outgun the M&K players, but just by outlasting them, causing chaos. That's the heavy's advantage. You become the front line, you become an objective holder, and just chaos. Like, you box off a small area with a sledgehammer, you're going to absolutely mash people's heads in. Very simple. And while doing that, you're letting your teammates, especially the lights and the medium, just clean up the fights. Just think about it. You don't have to be a sweaty flick headshot player, just be that wall. With the aim assist and hit scan or the melee weapons, you still do work. Just find a way that fits the controller playstyle a little bit better, because to be honest, it'll make your life a hell of a lot easier. Alright, before we wrap this up, let's talk about two things that are sometimes overlooked by controller players depending on where you came from. If you're a Call of Duty player or an Apex player, you're probably very familiar with this because they get tweaked so much to try and improve and optimize your performance, and that is movement and settings. So, a couple of things that are really important for settings in this game, because it isn't the exact same in terms of aim assist and linear aiming. So try find your most optimal sensitivity. If that means you need to play old man sense like me on really low, that's absolutely fine. It helps you track targets better at mid-range. You're not trying to take super long fights, and sometimes up close can be pretty difficult. So just find something that's smooth without you kind of overshooting your aim. So most controller pros kind of keep their vertical a little bit lower than their horizontal. Reason for that is that there isn't as much vertical movement in this game in comparison to, say, the likes of Call of Duty or Apex, where people are flying around the place. I know there are jump pads and stuff, but don't worry about that. Please also make sure aim assist is turned on. I know that sounds really silly. It's kind of like an IT where they ask you, have you tried turning it on and off again? Basically same premise here. And also double check that rotational aim assist for ADS is active too. That one helps when I'm talking about the strafing that we were mentioning, so using your hit scan weapons. Following on from that, movement. You don't really have much as a tank, but you shouldn't be just a scarecrow, or as we call it in the Call of Duty scene, a crab. Learn how to jiggle peek, learn how to crouch spam. So if that means switching to play tactical where you're using your right analog stick to bounce up and down, extremely helpful. And the aim assist will help you stay on the target, but it also helps the enemy stay on you. So just keep moving as best you can. One sneaky little one, if you're going to use the goo gun, it's not just a defensive kind of area denial tool, it can also manipulate movement. So you can lay it behind you and you can actually push forward to block flankers, or you can guide enemy into basically your line of fire. So you can just hold them pre-aim and angle if you want. It also helps you get up onto height or stops you falling off a building, which I do very regularly in this game. And one controller only trick that you can do, if you bind the crouch button to the paddle or bumper, like in my case, I've got a PowerA controller and it's unbelievable. That's what gives you that quick crouch toggle, and it can just throw them off completely because they are aiming for the head, and if you start dipping up and down, it's going to make it so much easier for you guys. So just keep that in mind. If you're a controller player in the finals and you're tired of getting out-aimed or a little bit overwhelmed, just give the heavy class a shot, man. I'm telling you, with the hit scan loadouts, the tankiness and the smart abilities, you can fight smarter, not harder, and you'll rack up wins by doing it. And it also makes sure that you actually have a balanced team, because how many times have you guys played and it's just like triple light or triple medium? It's not fun. Just let me know down in the comments if you've been maining the heavy or if you found success with another class on controller. And hey, do me a favor, if you hung around this long, only 60% of you guys actually subscribe to the channel, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you all in the arena soon, guys. Until then, enjoy the last part of this video, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.